am Daenerys Stormborn, of House Targaryen, of the blood of old Valyria. I am the dragon's daughter.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back for another Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon video. In this video, we will be discussing one of the biggest misconceptions in all of the Game of Thrones and A Song of Ice and Fire fandom. Ever since the very first season of Game of Thrones, there have been millions of fans wondering if every single Targaryen, or dragon rider for that matter, is fire resistant. And I certainly understand why there are so many fans who believe they are. As you all know, in the first season of Game of Thrones, we immediately saw how Daenerys had a very different relationship with fire. In one of her very first scenes in the first episode of Season 1, we saw how she wasn't affected by the scalding hot water during her bathing scene. Later in the first season, we also saw how the red-hot dragon eggs did not burn Dany's hands either. Then, immediately after Drogo murdered her brother Viserys, we heard her say, "He was no dragon. Fire cannot kill a dragon."
Khaleesi?
He was no dragon. Fire cannot kill a dragon.
That alone made millions of fans wonder how accurate her statement really was. As you all know, there were a number of different signs all throughout that first season that led all of us to believe fire would not harm Daenerys in any way. Then, in one of the greatest moments in all of Game of Thrones, we see Daenerys survive the blazing inferno during Drogo's funeral ceremony when she resurrected her dragon eggs that had turned to stone.
I know what you intend. Do not.
I must. You don't understand.
Don't ask me to stand aside as you climb on that pyre. I won't watch you burn.
After that, nearly every fan believed anyone who had the blood of the dragon would not die by fire. Once again, fans have been wondering this same thing after watching House of the Dragon's most recent episode. As you all know, in the newest episode of House of the Dragon, we see Lady Laena of Velaryon die after she had her dragon vhagar burn her alive. After that episode ended, I saw there were hundreds or even thousands of fans asking how she was able to die by the dragon fire. Since she did have the blood of the dragon, or the blood of old Valyria, many fans assumed she would not die by fire. Well, that answer is rather simple. Members of House Velaryon, and even members of House Targaryen, are not fire resistant. This was also shown to us in the very first season of Game of Thrones when Jon Snow burned his hand while saving Lord Commander Mormont. Now, if you remember, this happens when Jon and Lord Commander Mormont are attacked by the White they brought south of the Wall. In that scene, when we see Jon grab the lantern to set the White on fire, he actually burned his hand as well. In a later scene, when Lord Commander Mormont gives Jon the Valyrian steel sword for saving his life, you can see that his hand is still injured.
When does Daemon think you'll be able to use that hand?
Soon, he says.
Good. You'll be ready for this then. I thought a wolf was more appropriate for you than a bear.
In fact, if you read George R. R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire novels, you will see that that injury still bothers Jon all the way up until he's murdered by his brothers of the Night's Watch. So as you can see, Jon's hand does get burned, although he is not only a member of House Targaryen, but he's also a dragon rider as well. As a matter of fact, Jon isn't the only Targaryen who is affected by fire either. If you read George R. R. Martin's novels, you will see there's actually many different Targaryens who have died by fire. Even Daenerys Targaryen, the mother of dragons herself, does get burned in the novels. And it does happen more than once actually. When she awakens the dragons during Drogo's funeral ceremony, all of Dany's hair is burned from her head. And it does happen again, in the 5th novel, A Dance with Dragons. You can see that right here, when we go inside of Dany's head in the novel. Dany remembers how the fire burned away her hair, but elsewhere it did not touch her. The reason Lady Laena of Velaryon was able to die by dragonfire in House of the Dragon is because having the blood of the dragon does not make you immune to fire. George R. R. Martin actually confirmed this all the way back in the year of 1999. During a conversation George R. R. Martin was having with a fan, he said Targaryens are not immune to fire. The birth of Dany's dragons was unique, magical, wondrous, and a miracle. She is called the Unburnt because she walked into the flames and lived. But her brother sure as hell wasn't immune to that molten gold. Hopefully this finally helps some of you understand why Daenerys was able to live, and so many other Targaryens were not. As you can see from the creator and writer himself, Dany was only able to survive because what she had done in that moment was magical. As of right now, she is the only Targaryen we have seen do this. Whenever you see characters like Viserys die by the molten gold, or when Jon Snow burns his hand, or when Lady Laena Velaryon dies by dragonfire, that's normal. That is how it should always happen. Now, Daenerys' incredible scene in Season 1 was meant to be something very special because she was resurrecting dragons back into the realm, something that hadn't been done for hundreds of years. Now, let me know if this makes sense, and also let me know if there's any other examples that would help everyone understand why having Blood of the Dragon does not make them fire resistant. Leave me your thoughts down below. As always, I want to thank everyone for watching this video. I hope all of you have a great day. I will see you again very soon. Bye.
Rhaenyra Targaryen was murdered by her brother, or rather, his dragon. It ate her while her son watched. What's left of her is buried in the crypts right down there.
Rhaenyra, ever defiant, told her dear brother that she'd hoped he was dead. After you, Aegon answered. Then, Sunfire bathed her in a blast of flame and devoured her in 6 bites when her son watched, leaving the 7th and final bite, her lower leg, for the stranger.
The Dance of the Dragons. A stupid name for a Targaryen civil war where my ancestors danced away my birthright. Before the war, House Targaryen counted 18 dragons. By the end, we had 2, and nearly as few Targaryens. We would never be as powerful or as feared again.